All right, we're jumping straight into the deep end today. We're talking about a live, fast-moving conflict with huge global implications. This is a tactical briefing on what's happening right now in the Strait of Hormuz. And let's just get right to the stakes. I mean, look at this. This is a stark warning coming directly from Iranian military command. This isn't just talk. It's a direct threat to the entire global economy, and it's all centered on the single most critical energy choke point on the planet. Okay, so let's get boots on the ground, so to speak. We're going right to the front lines, into the heart of this active combat zone. So let me be perfectly clear about this. The Strait of Hormuz is effectively closed. This is not some diplomatic standoff or a war of words. The situation is what experts call highly kinetic, and what that means is there are active combat operations happening as we speak. Commercial ships have already been hit. And the scale of what's at risk here, I mean, it's just staggering. You have to understand, this one tiny choke point handles a fifth of all global oil and a fifth of its LNG. Think about that. We're talking about up to 20 million barrels of oil a day that have just, poof, vanished from the market. This single waterway is, no exaggeration, the jugular vein of the global economy. So the big question is, how did we get here, right? What was the spark? Let's rewind a bit and look at the event that really lit the fuse on this whole powder keg. Well, Iran's blockade didn't happen in a vacuum. It was a direct retaliation. The trigger, the thing that set all this off, was a massive U.S. precision strike on a really critical piece of Iranian infrastructure, a place called Karg Island. Now, this was a very calculated move by the U.S. You see, Karg Island is the export terminal for something like 90% of all of Iran's oil. But the U.S. strikes specifically targeted military assets, things like naval mine storage, missile bunkers. They deliberately left the oil infrastructure untouched. The thinking was, let's cripple their ability to fight without completely blowing up the global energy market. It was a super high-risk gamble and, well, it is clearly spectacularly backfired. Okay, so that brings us to the tactical reality on the water. I mean, how exactly is Iran pulling this off? How are they enforcing a blockade against, the most powerful navies in the world?
Well, the weaponry really tells the story here. On one side, you have Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps using stuff like sea mines, swarms of drones, and this new missile threat we'll get into. On the other side, you've got the U.S. and its allies relying on super high-tech defenses, like the Aegis system, which is this really advanced naval air defense shield, and, of course, their own precision strikes. It's a classic clash of doctrines.
And here's what we mean by those doctrines. The U.S. strategy is all about surgical power, right? Using overwhelming force to take out specific threats. But Iran's strategy is completely different. It's asymmetric. It's called area denial. The idea is they don't actually have to win a head-to-head fight with the U.S. Navy. They just have to make the entire strait so dangerous, so unbelievably lethal that nobody dares to even enter. And here's the kicker. Right now, that Iranian strategy is working. And the reason why is a big one. They're called dancing missiles. Basically, they fly super low to the water and move erratically, and we have confirmed reports that they've actually gotten past the advanced Aegis defense shield. This one single tactical development, this is the reason allied navies are saying no way to sending their expensive warships into that crossfire. So, that brings us to the diplomatic arena, because the shockwaves from those dancing missiles aren't just tactical, they're tearing major global alliances apart. Okay, so in response to this whole blockade, President Trump has basically laid down an ultimatum. He's demanding that the allies who depend on this oil, we're talking China, France, Japan, the UK, send their own navies to form a coalition and force this waterway back open. And the response from those allies? It's been a resounding no thank you. I mean, France has flat out refused to enter a combat zone. The UK says, well, maybe we'll send some unmanned drones. Japan is offering intelligence support, but from a very safe distance. And when you've got India and China, who are basically bypassing the US completely, trying to cut their own backdoor deals with Tehran for safe passage. So this grand coalition, for now, it's pretty much dead on arrival. So to try and force their hand, the Trump administration is using the classic carrot and stick approach. The stick is pretty big, threatening to rethink NATO defense commitments, canceling summits. And the carrot? They're offering friendly nations like Japan a pretty sweet deal. Priority access to discounted American LNG, but only if they join the fight. It's a very clear you're either with us or against us kind of geopolitical squeeze play. And when you look at these numbers, you can see exactly why that diplomatic pressure is so intense. The economic fallout has been immediate, and it is severe. U.S. diesel prices are up 25%. European natural gas spiked 50%. And that last one, don't sleep on that one. Urea fertilizer is up 35%. You know what that means? Global food prices are the very next domino to fall. But the headline number, the one everyone is watching, really says it all. Brent crude, that's the global benchmark, was trading around $70 a barrel before all this kicked off. Right now, it's hovering at $120.
Now, in response, the International Energy Agency did coordinate a massive release from strategic reserves. We're talking 400 million barrels. But every expert out there is saying the same thing. This is a Band-Aid. It's a temporary stopgap. It can't possibly replace the 15 to 20 million barrels of oil that are being lost every single day this strait stays closed.
Okay, so finally, let's look at how this thing is rapidly evolving. Because this isn't just about the water anymore. The conflict is spreading. A shadow war is breaking out across the entire region, and now into cyberspace. And just look at the timeline, how fast this is escalating. On March 11th, you get a major cyber attack hitting a U.S. medical company. Just 3 days later, on the 14th, Iran issues a new directive targeting U.S. corporate assets. And on that same day, missiles hit a Saudi airbase and damage 5 U.S. aircraft. You can just imagine the immense pressure now on Japan's Prime Minister Takaichi with her big summit with Trump coming up on March 19th. And this new directive from Tehran, this is a major escalation. Iran is now saying it will target any energy facility in the entire Middle East. We're talking Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Qatar, if a U.S. company is even a minor shareholder. This just dramatically expands the battlefield overnight. And they're not being shy about it. They've named specific targets. The huge UAE ports of Jebel Ali, Khalifa, and Fujairah are now officially in the crosshairs. In fact, Iranian state media has issued what they're calling an immediate evacuation warning to all workers there. That's a pretty clear signal that an attack could be imminent. And this shadow war, it's coming home. That cyber attack on the medical device company, that was just the beginning. Intelligence agencies are now warning that was just the opening salvo of a much, much larger campaign that's going to directly target America's own healthcare and financial sectors. Which brings us all back to the final, unavoidable question. This is not just some distant conflict. With Iranian command openly talking about $200 oil and analysts saying $150 is a very real possibility, this crisis is going to be felt at every gas pump and every grocery store. The question really is, how are you preparing for it?